memory serves, a long time ago, Mom drops me off and says she's coming in and I'm going to go talk to Dave Harry. Dave tells her that I was asking questions about his life and helping him out with his shit. So afterwards she says, I'm taking you and your sister to get pizza and a video. I'm taking you home. I'm going to go out and do some shit. So we show back up at the house and she takes me into the other room with my sister. And she's like, I don't give a fuck about the therapist's mother issues or any other kind of issues. You're there to talk about your issues. And more often than not, I would turn it around on a therapist. And Maria knows that, which is why that clip from Dean Ambrose psychoanalyzing the therapist kept playing before, because she probably thought it was funny. In any event, I have no issue sending somebody to the therapist to talk about their many so-called imaginary issues and getting their lives sorted out so they don't make other people's lives miserable with their fucking stupid-ass problems. And I'm sorry to say this, but I have many problems and I don't burden other people with my bullshit. Or at least I make an attempt not to anyway, because I know other people have problems that are just as, if not worse than mine. Which is why my brother-in-law is a fan of grounding me. And every time I get edgy and ticklish enough to ask for $1, he reminds me of what I need to do to go make $1 if I'm that fucking desperate for fucking coin. Which realistically I never have been, because I have a brain in my head and it's actually not that hard to fucking make money while you're out here if you're determined enough and actually think it through a little bit. But that's another story. So when someone doesn't tell me that they're carting around with a woman that's saying she wants to marry me, you can't really get mad at that person in my humble estimation. I'm not psychic, I'm not the amazing Kreskin, although with a power of perception that's coupled between logic and emotional intuitiveness, that might be debatable, I guess, to a certain degree. However, the fact remains is that if I'm not looking for it, I'm not going to see it. And for someone that says she doesn't care, you come back very quickly with I love you and I want to be with you. And this soul tribe that we're talking about here, being brutally honest, that applied to me before just like it does now. I said I'm getting my just and final reward for finally becoming a real human boy. As someone said before, I should lie and be that INFJ, and perhaps I was the INFJ the whole entire time, as much as I was jaded, hurt, hardened by pain and grief and trauma. And you know, for people that have an incredible amount of brain power like y'all claim to, it almost seemed like a miracle of modern science to get you to jump to that fucking particular goal. So allow me to be honest and forthright here. I've gotten to the point where, unless I actually see it, I'm not going to be jumping for joy over anything that may or may not happen. Come welfare time, if nothing's changed in my particular situation when it comes to housing and things to that nature or work, I'm going to be looking to make other arrangements. And I got a call from Edmonton talking about housing in the Salvation Army for a solo apartment where I can do school from and live an uninterrupted life with a fucking door that locks and a bathroom door that can secure itself so that I don't have to worry about any unwanted guests or any fucking weirdo Negroes singing a fucking spiritual at fucking halfway through lathering up my nuts. You get my point where that's concerned. right? That's a little off-putting and a little bit weird, or some asshole coming in there with Tourette's or saying fuck for 10 minutes. Or some asshole sitting in there using the computer and literally playing peekaboo with everybody taking a shit. Take your pick. And I'll tell you something else. Like I said, you can't really get mad and say that somebody's willingly and willingly breaking up somebody else's home, especially when that person cares for that particular woman, and it's well documented through a very popular video log that that person has incredible feelings for this woman and is trying to get himself to the point where he can be ready to be with that woman. You know it. You step in. You can't really blame the other person for sitting there. Unbeknownst to him, you're in the picture. And so for you to take the moral high ground in this regard is really incorrect. And I really resent you for doing that. And that's just being honest with me. Honest with you, I should say. And that little fucking pissed off look you had on your face when I saw you at 7-Eleven that one day. Yeah, that ain't cool either, Jack. So again, honesty being what it is, I wasn't looking for you to be in the picture. That's why I didn't see that you were in the picture. But it was a brief glance the other day, and then automatically I knew that you were in the picture. Because again, perception, emotional intuitiveness, coupled with logic, gives me an interesting perspective as to what's going on around me. And the fact remains, her having an alter in her head, going through an incredible amount of trauma and not remembering anything past, say, 5 years ago, I don't believe that's an act. I don't believe she's trying to show me she's a wounded little birdie that needs treatment. I believe she's actually wounded and requires my help. I told her I would do it, and I intend to follow through with that promise, and if that means you and I have to bump fucking heads, so be it. Because my head won't be the only head you're bumping. But it doesn't have to be like that. In fact, you and I have a common goal because we both seem to care and love for the same woman. So it would probably behoove us to work together to make sure she is a fully functional woman so she can make decent decisions for herself and find out what she truly wants so that she can truly be happy. Because when you love somebody, you want them to be happy whether it's with you or not. That's what love is, brother. You can calm me down and say I'm playing a role and do whatever else you choose to. I don't give a fuck. But we will bump heads because I will make sure that she's a fully functional woman, better capable and able of making decisions and accomplishing her goals and being the person that she wants to be. And you know what? She can resent me and say, oh, I never cared about you and this and that. And you know, that's a pile of bullshit. It's cow shit is what it is. Because she said before that it has always been me. And other people have been clouding that issue for an extended period of time. Because as they've said on my social media over and over, it ain't no fun if the homies can't get none. And I object because the next homie that tries to get some, I'll take their weapon away. But again, and let me caveat everything with this, it doesn't have to be like that. All I want is her in a right frame of mind to make good, decent decisions for herself and to undo the damage that has been done on her ego, her person, and who she is as an individual. That's all I want. I'm not looking to step on anybody's parade. Keep your Nazis locked up. And by the way, the ink that was on that Nazi that one day, that fucking dickhead bald motherfucker that got introduced to me over at 7-Eleven, somebody drew that shit on him. this in mind before you load your next video, before you load your next response. It ain't gotta be all that, Jack. You and I don't have to be enemies. I actually rather liked you when you bought me a pizza that night, except for knowing your goal later of possibly wanting to, well, yeah. But I have no issue with you personally. And again, this doesn't have to be that. Because my only issue is making sure she is fully functional and able to make decisions for herself and have her memory back and be at peace with her life. And the drugs are not helping her. So just remember that before you load your next fucking video.